Toon Goons, a podcast in which we take an adult and critical perspective into the world of cartoons and animation and analyze how they affect the pop cultural landscape at large. I'm one of your hosts, Nikki.
I'm Nina.
And I'm Tooch, because I couldn't think of a goofy pun because I'm not gonna call myself Gooch.
And today, we are talking about a movie about a guy named Max who braves a perilous road with a person he can't stand but learns to respect. A crazy road adventure. I wish we could talk about Mad Max. I finally saw it.
I did too.
Oh, I did not understand what you were doing.
God damn, that is like the best movie I've seen in a long time.
I know, right?
It was so good. It's ineligible. We're talking about the Goofy movie because it's about Father's Day when this comes out, and we figured this would be a good Father's Day movie. And none of us have...
All I'll say before we go on, all I'll say about Mad Max, I can't wait for the sequel, An Extremely Furious Road.
Yes.
Oh, God.
So, we haven't seen this movie in like 10 years, any of us. So, I think it's going to be an interesting discussion.
I literally saw it when it first opened in theaters when I was like 4. Or something. So I don't remember anything. This was new to me, basically.
And yet so
familiar. I remembered one song.
Not really, no. It wasn't familiar to me at all. The only thing that it got me to remember was that Pauly Shore existed.
That was unfortunate.
Oh.
I actually, when you said that in the Skype chat, I'm like, oh my god, that guy was Pauly Shore. The cheese guy was Pauly Shore. I remember that now.
Yep.
And I was under the gracefully incorrect impression that he was in the movie a lot more.
That's because the previews really... He was in the previews more than any other character.
He's also in the sequel more, I think. A lot more people remember the sequel because it's later when people were older.
And it's on Netflix, unlike this one.
Yeah.
We are not going to do recaps this week as we're saving Stephen Baum for next week, and kind of nothing else is airing right now. So we're going to lean into the fact that we got a lot of news. Let's get into it. Where do you want to start,
Alright,
Nina?
so I guess let's start from the top of my list, which is about the new Powerpuff Girls show.
Woo!
That is coming to us in 2016. So, a lot of shows were announced this week. I guess it was the licensing expo in Las Vegas. So I guess that's where a lot of this information comes from.
That's a thing? Okay.
Apparently.
It's probably just an excuse for television executives to go to Vegas.
I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's going to be a new Powerpuff Girls show. We've heard about this before around the time that the Dance Pants Revolution special came out. But now it seems to be more of a reality. It's going to be executive produced by Nick Jennings, who worked on Adventure Time. And, Cartoon Network is going to go all out with the licensing to create all the fucking products, because they know they're going to sell. So there's going to be all kinds of wonderful things for you to buy. And there's going to be books and costumes and all this shit. But the thing that's being highlighted the most in this story is the new voice cast. And by new voice cast, I mean it's the same voice cast except for the 3 main girls.
Oh, that I didn't know.
Yeah, that's strangely specific and interesting.
Tom Kenny is still going to be the narrator mayor.
Okay, the marinator.
Presumably, I don't know about everybody else, but we know Tom Kenny is returning. But
Do we know about Tom Kane, or whoever voiced Mojo, who I wish I could remember?
The other great Tom voice actor?
He
voices Utonium and
I don't know, hopefully. But the girls themselves are going to be voiced by these 3 newbies. Interestingly, in the promotional materials for this show, they were releasing pictures of this Photoshop picture of the girls with their voice actresses, which, implies that they're trying to appeal to somebody with these women. Their names are Amanda Layton as Blossom, Christy Lee as Bubbles, and Natalie Palamides as Buttercup. I don't think anybody knows who these people are.
These are not known actresses. I don't think they've been in anything significant, and they are all teenage. Looking at these images,
Yeah.
Which I think is going to be an interesting take on the characters. We'll see how it turns out. But yeah, I mean, the main controversy is that none of the original cast, none of the three who voice the original Powerpuff Girls, who were Kathy Cavadini, Tara Strong, and E.G. Daly, were even contacted about this. They were never even asked to return.
They weren't even told it was happening until the announcement came out, and they were like, "What? No! Why?" And Tara Strong and I've heard both. I've heard from Elizabeth Daly as well talking about it, but Tara Strong has been very vocal on her Tumblr, not her Tumblr, her Twitter, about how she's very disappointed that she wasn't contacted. I mean, there's no anger, of course, to these three new girls or anything. Wasn't their decision, but it's just man, they weren't even asked. And then Craig McCracken came in and voiced his opinion and was like, when I created this show, I had these women in mind, and it's they're all still working. They're all still around. It's not like they disappeared off the face of the earth. You can still hire them.
Yeah.
And they did do the voices for the Dance Pants Revolution special.
Yeah, less than a year ago.
Yeah, and it just...
Well, I don't know when it was produced, but it came out less than a year ago, so...
Yeah. And...
I mean, clearly if Tom Kenny's returning, clearly, since this is a reboot, it was a conscious decision. They didn't just, forget, oh, fuck, we have these,
No,
there's some purpose behind... there's something they're going for. They weren't just being antagonistic, we're not gonna hire these ladies back, fuck them!
Yeah. Yeah,
there's some greater goal.
Yeah, it's pretty complex. Obviously, they want to take it in a different direction. That's why they got three much younger women to do these roles.
I think it might have to do with all that crazy marketing and cross-promotion they're doing, because they seem like they're going to be marketing the girls along with the actual voice actresses along with the stuff. Their
it's
faces
anime.
are going to be front and center.
Is there any precedent in American animation for this?
No.
Because I know in Japan it's a necessity. Japanese voice actors do have to keep up a public appearance. They very are celebrities with a public face, whereas that's just not a thing in Western animation.
Yeah, but they don't recast classic characters either. You can be an older woman and still play Goku forever. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what makes you think that the marketing is going to involve the actors as icons for marketing?
Well, I guess because I'm just looking at this promotional image, the one of three Powerpuff Girl floating heads, their name, and then the actress's name with a portrait of the girls. You know the image I'm looking at? And then the three stripes of the three girls' colors.
Yeah, it's on both of the articles you linked.
This has been...
It's a piece of promotional image, and there's
this promotional image has been circulating everywhere.
Is it? I would have just assumed that I guess it has to be.
No, it is a promotional image that was been distributed to these news sources and these websites to use to talk about the story. We know that there's going to be part of the story is Spin Master will anchor the program, creating a line of toys, including plushes, figures, playsets, dolls. There's going to be a new book series coming out. Costumes for juniors and adults, as well as year-round dress-up toys and accessories for kids, also available. They already have the plan for the home video release. They want to make a lot of money from the get-go. Obviously everybody wants to make money, but from the beginning, they're we're doing this for marketing reasons, almost primarily, it seems. And this kind of decision seems to show that. Especially looking at these young girls, they look kind of like Disney Channel girls or the corresponding like Nickelodeon star young women.
Well, not so much Natalie. Natalie's just like, what am I doing?
I don't
here?
know. I mean, she appears to the nerdy
No, they all
side,
look
I
great.
guess. And like, I can see them doing like promotional spots, like with the girls, like as themselves talking.
I hope so. That would be super good for them.
Yeah.
Like, especially if they're new especially if they're new in the biz, that would be super rad. Like, even if they weren't being marketed like this, if it's true, like, even if that weren't the case, this is still a great first gig.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Something with this much legacy, and clearly a lot of money behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would trust that if they were gonna do the risk of getting new talent for legacy characters, that they're not gonna find some really talented up and comers for it. So I'm anticipating at the very if the show's not as good, I'm at least anticipating their performances.
I
will
hope
be
so.
good.
I want to give them the benefit of the doubt, but like a lot of this presentation leads me to believe that their physical appearance was very important to the casting, because it was more than just them as actresses. If they're going to become these faces of this brand.
I didn't notice because I just immediately fall in love with every female voice actor.
I know how these marketing guys work, and I know, and like, I think they're trying to play like that Disney Channel game of like appealing on multiple levels to the young girl audiences, to like create these real life sort of icons for them to like follow and stuff. So that's what I'm predicting.
Yeah.
What they're trying to do with these girls.
My only, honestly, like everybody's obviously the big to do is the voices, but it's like I feel like that's overshadowed my main concern. Okay, it's not a major concern. It's the tiniest nitpick, and that only makes it worse. What is with their quote unquote redesigns? Like, I figured it would look different, and I was preparing myself for it to look different. No, Bubbles got some hair clip things, and Buttercup needs a comb. Blossom's perfect as always.
Are the dimensions on the bow different?
It's a little different. It feels.
I feel like it wasn't as rabid.
The line, you know what it is? The lines
slightly...
are thinner.
That's the other thing. It doesn't have the signature
thinner,
McCracken thick-ass outlines.
Yeah, nobody can really draw them like McCracken.
Well, nobody does
that's the
thick
other thing.
lines anymore.
That's the other thing. McCracken's not involved.
No, he is completely uninvolved. What's at all?
I mean, presumably he's getting a check, but
I would hope so.
I would hope so, but I also don't know if that's how this kind of licensing worked. It might just belong to Cartoon Network.
I don't think it does work that way. I was thinking about this when
way.
I was thinking about, Clarence and Skylar Page. I was like, I don't think creators get the money, because you're essentially when you pitch it to a studio, you're selling it to a studio. They own all the materials of the show, so I don't think you get royalties.
Yeah, like anytime I've talked about, like, as an aspiring television cartoonist, anytime I've talked about, like, pitching my stuff, everybody who doesn't know anything is always like, you're gonna, like, keep your character rights, right? I'm like, no, because I want to work in television and I want people to agree to give me a show. That's just how it works.
In agreeing to make the show, you give them the rights to the characters and the property and stuff. I mean, that's how Freakazoid was able to be passed along to the Animaniacs people after Bruce Timm did all that work. It's because Warner Brothers owned all the work that he did and was able to give it to another team.
And make a probably much better show.
Yeah. So this kind of stuff happens all the time.
It's like it's the norm.
The industry standard. So
now, as always, with anything Powerpuff Girls since Powerpuff Girls, I'm cautiously optimistic, but like I've been around the block a few times. I know how this shit has turned out in the past. I'm gonna wait to get excited until I see any of it.
Oh yeah, I'm not excited.
Yeah.
I'm more hoping.
I'm
for
definitely
the best.
curious. I'll definitely keep an eye about.
Oh yeah, totally.
Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah, because it's like
it should be really hard to fuck up, but
Well, they did it before.
And yet.
So yeah.
I mean, I'm just wondering what tone they're gonna try and go for, because it's like you'd think with a remake and a new cast they might try like let's take a concept and do something different with it. But this looks like they're just gonna make more Powerpuff Girls, and if they do that, it's probably not gonna be as good because you can't.
That's the thing.
They might
you can't do a better version than Powerpuff Girls. It was perfect.
You can't do an as good version because it's slightly different. So it's always going to be lesser.
The more youthfulness, which is saying a lot because the characters themselves are 5, but
they're still 5.
Still 5. I think they might be playing the comedy up more, probably. And I mean, it was always pretty funny show, but I'm thinking I guess with the success of Teen Titans Go.
I always considered it a comedy show that may or may not have a 2-minute fight montage where someone ends up just bloody at the end of it. That was Powerpuff Girls.
But it felt like a lot of it, especially in the earlier seasons before they started deconstructing themselves, it was a lot more action driven. It's like, here's a big bad villain and we gotta, stop his plan with punching.
As a kid, watching it, I liked the action. I mean, obviously the comedy was hilarious too, but it felt very actiony to me. And I don't know if it's going to do more like a Teen Titans Go route, where it's going to be more funny and
not. We already have Teen Titans Go.
Small and giggly. I mean, also remembering Dance Pants Revolution and how the pacing and presentation was with that. So I don't know.
I feel like girl superheroes are big right now, or at least relatively speaking for market or whatever.
Oh yeah, they're definitely going for the girl power market.
I think that there's still a lot of room for just a straight up girls kick some people show that has some funny stuff in it. I hope they don't go a straight comedy route.
Yeah. And to anybody out there listening worried that Powerpuff Girls won't be good, just watch Star vs. Forces of Evil.
Yeah, if you want that itch scratched, Star's got you covered.
Yes, absolutely.
Outlines are kind of thick in that show.
Yeah.
We've talked about this for a long time. Let's move on to the next one.
Another new show reboot that Cartoon Network announced during the same time is the new Ben 10 that they're going to be doing. That's also going to premiere in 2016.
So it's a reboot.
Yes, I mean
they're not just making another they always
do. It seems like it's going to be a reboot. A Man of Action is going to still be behind it. It says they're going to reintroduce energetic, fun-loving 10-year-old Ben Tennyson at the.
Now, is he voiced by Tara Strong again? Did she get shafted twice?
I don't know that actually.
Damn it.
And also, you said it comes out in 2016. That's internationally. North America, it comes out in 2017. Which, I mean, I never really followed Ben 10. I guess it's big elsewhere.
It's pretty big.
It's a pretty big property. It's one of the few franchises that Cartoon Network actually made toys for, instead of just canceling it because it won't sell toys that they never made.
I mean, I saw it make a lot of merchandise, and it's apparently so much of a moneymaker that in that IFC crossovers, all the classic Cartoon Network properties in one place, and also Ben 10's there despite being from a period of 10 years later in time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The series kicks off with Ben, his cousin Gwen, and Grandpa Max as they travel the country during summer vacation. When Ben finds the mysterious Omnitrix, a world of alien superpowers opens up to him, which sounds exactly like the first show.
That is the first show.
We also have...
And the second show... No.
I remember seeing a couple episodes of Ben 10. Yeah, I never disliked it. I just didn't get into it.
It's harmless. It's fun.
This Ben 10 really looks like he's 10, as opposed to the one in the original show, which looked like he could be 13.
Yeah, the original show had a more comic booky art style, which makes sense given the pedigree behind it. But then I remember the last series that I never watched a single episode of, Omnitrix, had a super different art style, and I dug this crap out of that. This one is different. I preferred
this one's
Omnitrix.
Very flat.
Oh, Omniverse.
Yeah.
Yeah, Omnitrix, I think, is the thing on his wrist.
Yeah, it's the thing on his wrist.
That's
I'm sorry, Omniverse.
All the aliens in them.
Yeah, the aliens.
It's a very uninspired design, I gotta say.
I mean, yeah, this looks like something I drew on a vector art program in 2007, and I'm not even joking. I can see, I know exactly how to draw exactly this, and I did it for a million years of my life in my teen years. This is scary to look at.
But as always,
It's
with
scaring me.
anything that we talk about, you can only judge so much by static images, so we'll see.
Oh yeah, totally, absolutely. Remember when we didn't like Steven Universe for 2 seconds?
That was I liked it.
I never felt dumber.
I wasn't one of those. Well, we'll see.
We'll see.
Okay, more new shows. So, The Three Stooges is getting an animated adaptation. It was, it's going to be distributed by Cake and produced by Titmouse.
Yay!
Yeah, I guess it's somewhat like in collaboration with the Annecy Festival. But yeah, it's going to be this is an interesting way to say it, 52 times 11. I'm assuming that's 52 episodes of 11 minutes. Series is aimed at bringing the classic brand's broad family appeal to the animation landscape, with Larry, Moe, and Curly's visual and slapstick humor taken to whole new levels. A limited dialogue strategy will make the project attractive for international audiences and multi-platform distribution.
Then we got an image of the three of them, just their headshots, and it's crazy.
It's horrifying. It's horrifying and baffling. Like, why is Larry the biggest, most animated one? He was always just the third guy. What did Larry... People remember, I remember more about Shemp.
I'm not very familiar with the Three Stooges, other than...
They hit each other
I know, other than
lot.
the basics,
No, you know it. That's it.
Yeah, the pilot animatic was created by Christy Caracas, who worked on Super Jail.
An amazingly animated show. Super Jail has beautiful animation of people doing horrible things.
So, the idea... Animation is a lot more conducive to slapstick than live action because they can't die. These designs are really weird, and a part of me appreciates that they just lean into making them super weird looking. But
I honestly don't mind it. It kind of screams old school to me.
I just didn't expect.
Very
it.
shocking, absolutely. The third time, but yeah, we'll have to see with this one.
I'm used to the animated Three Stooges from 1 when they appeared in Scooby-Doo, and 2 when they had that super dumb, they had their own cartoon that nobody remembers, called I think it was something along the lines of the Super Stooges. And it was a Hanna-Barbera cartoon, and the concept was the three were slapsticky comedic superheroes, but all the Robo Stooges, they were all robots for no reason.
Right. Okay.
I don't know. It's probably on Boomerang still sometimes at 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't even know. If anyone but me remembers that, write to me and I'll call you a liar.
Okay.
This is why we have Touche on the show, to remember this shit.
Alright, we've got more new shows. More, I say. More.
This one's kind of a follow-up to something we talked about last week, and that Noelle Stevenson is on the top of the fucking world right now. Last week we found out that Lumberjanes, a comic that she co-created and co-writes, published by Boom, it's fantastic. It's one of the best things they're putting out right now, is getting a live-action movie adaptation. And we were a little disappointed that it wasn't animated.
Yeah.
Because I thought it would be great on a Cartoon Hangover. What is getting an animated adaptation is her first long-form webcomic, Nimona. Nimona's how I discovered her. It's a fantasy webcomic about an evil villain and his sidekick who's a shape-shifting girl named Nimona. And it's just really well written, and Noelle Stevenson is my favorite cartoonist. I absolutely adore her style.
It's super cute.
Yeah. And if you read the archives of Nimona, you can see her developing as an artist. Like in the beginning, it's not at that like perfect, incredible level yet, but it still has that inimitable charm, and it still is really good. And then as you read it, it's you can see it develop. I think the entire archive may not be online anymore, and you have to buy the book. But it's worth it. It's absolutely worth it.
Yeah, it says here that Fox Animation has picked up the rights for the graphic novel, so you can't see it online anymore. But
Fox.
Yeah.
So I know nothing. I knew nothing about Nimona. Like when you two were like,
oh
"OMG,
no, I don't know
Nimona," I was like,
I was just like,
"Oh, okay." Well, when
you
Nikki
recognize the name, yeah.
Was excited for on behalf of all three of us, I was like, "What is this thing?" And then I see Fox is picking it up. So like, what's the tone? What's the target demo? What kind of like is it gonna be like what are like because Fox does, the Fox cartoons that they do, the Family Guys and the Burger Bobs.
Yeah, I mean it was a comic with a distinct beginning and end, so it's not like something that you could do like a Simpsons or a Family Guy and like make 100 million seasons of it. You can make like maybe 2, depending on how long.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they're probably going to extend
the description
that
we were given is that set in a medieval future where a young shapeshifter teams with a disgraced knight to overthrow the corrupt regime of the Institution of Law Enforcement and Heroics. Mark Hames is going to pen the script, and the project's going to be directed by Patrick Osborne, who directed Feast, the short about the puppy who ate all the food. Oh.
That's promising.
Yeah.
So, I guess what I'm asking is this for kids?
I don't know.
I think it
I'm
could fall into
Nikki,
young
guess.
adult. I mean,
Okay.
like, there's some like Lance and Shield stuff in there, like. People die and stuff, but it's not like super violent or anything, but there's some heavy themes, like when you get into Nimona's origin herself, which I'm not going to spoil. So I would say young adult.
Okay.
So
that's good. Okay, because honestly, that's where I would call Bob's Burgers, and that's the kind of shit I like to see, where it's not blatantly trying to shove in your face that you need to be a certain age, otherwise your parents won't let you watch this.
I mean,
that's the stuff
young
I hate.
adult in the way that they market books. Whereas Bob's Burgers kind of transcends a lot of demographics like Simpsons did. This, I feel, is playing to a younger audience. Like, late teens, early 20s.
Okay.
PG-13?
Yeah, something like that. Like, it's got that kind of high fantasy thing going on. It's not like it's not like Sexy Monsters or anything. But I would say, as someone who talks a lot about marketing but doesn't really know anything about it, I would say young adult.
Well, okay.
So I don't know where they would. I don't know if it's going to be like on Fox. I mean, it's not going to fit in their animation domination block. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that's what's tripping me up, and I don't know what else Fox Animation. I'm not familiar with what Fox Animation does outside.
Yeah,
of
I mean, Foxbox isn't a thing anymore.
No, Saturday morning cartoons are dead.
So we'll see.
Yep. Okay, and one last news show. This is another reboot. It's a reboot of Reboot.
Reboot.
Chorus Entertainment has given the go-ahead to Rainmaker Entertainment television division to produce 26 half-hour episodes of their reimagining of Reboot, which was kind of like the first sort of CG television series to
It absolutely
really
was.
exist. So it's going to be called Reboot:
Yep.
The Guardian Code. It's going to be a live-action CG animation hybrid. It's going to be distributed globally by TWC Dimension Television, excluding Canada, whatever. The production is going to kick off on the heels of the show's 20th anniversary. According to Michael Heffernan, the new show is based on the original Reboot created by Gavin Blair, John Grace, Phil Mitchell, and Ian Pearson.
That's a lot
That's
of guys.
a lot of guys to make one show.
Yeah.
So yeah, the new show's created by this different guy. Their reinvigorated adventure comedy will follow 4 teens, Austin, Parker, Gray, and Tamara, who discover their next-gen guardians with a mission to save the world by defending it in cyberspace. With the help of Vera, the last surviving cyber being from the original Guardian program, the young heroes use awesome code-based powers to battle viruses unleashed by a ruthless hacker, known only as the Sorcerer, bent on ruling the world by controlling cyberspace.
And that's source for, like, SOURCE, like source code.
This doesn't sound like reboot at all.
Apparently Megabyte will be back.
Now, I don't know dick about reboot.
I don't know dick about
this.
reboot.
Sounds actually...
I love
I'm sure
reboot.
you do. I'm sure it's great. I'm sure you're not lying about liking this cartoon. This sounds very much like 90s cyberpunk.
Yeah, okay, like, this is so weird, because the original reboot had, like, a really good, solid, timeless premise that you could totally do today. This sounds like what everyone thinks reboot would be like if they heard the words computer-themed CG cartoon in the 90s.
It's very Tron.
This sounds like the plot to fucking that Saban, not Power Rangers show, Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad.
Or Digimon 02 when they were fighting Ken.
Yeah, but I like that.
Quote, technology is ever-changing and Reboot the Guardian Code will utilize the very technology inherent in the conception of the show and prevalent in kids' everyday lives to drive a new type of relationship across multiple platforms.
Isn't this just Code Lyoko? Didn't Code Lyoko also do this when it came back and no one cared? It's because it's CGI / live action, and that just spells disaster.
Apparently there's going to be a brand extensions, technology focus, empowering kids with the tools and confidence to chart their own course in the world.
That's marketing mumbo jumbo.
That's marketing bullshit.
Blah, blah, blah.
Once somebody starts saying brand, you can just tune out.
Thank you for
I'm just trying
tuning.
to give you an idea of what they want to do.
Yeah.
What their intention is.
I mean,
Since it seems removed from the original
to be
source.
fair, I didn't actually read the thing. I just heard there was a reboot, and I assumed it would be at least resemble reboot. So now I'm hearing this for the first time, and it's my own fault for not reading ahead, and I'm being knee-jerky.
Well, I mean, this image doesn't look anything like reboot. They were all green, weren't they?
Those are only the... God, no. See, I can't. We already want to move on.
Okay.
So, there's a lot of varied character design. Like there's a whole bunch of different character design. The main cast was humanoid.
But I remember green people.
Dot and Enzo, who are brother and sister, are green. Bob was more blue. Megabyte was a robot-looking dude, and then there was Hexadecimal, who was way cooler. It was really cool design. We should do reboot on the show.
We should. I mean, we've been suggested to do it, and we definitely should.
So good.
But yeah.
That's it for new shows, I think.
Yes, those are all the new shows. I've got 2 more stories.
So are we gonna do the bummer?
Yeah,
let's do the bummer in the middle.
Yeah.
I gotta say goodbye to another great actor. 2015 has just been killing off all the great, super old, righteous men of pop culture. First we lost...
And it might have finally killed off the greatest.
First we lost... Well, that's a hard... Look, the bar is really high. First we lost Leonard Nimoy. Then, we didn't talk about this because it doesn't have anything to do with cartoons, but we lost B.B. King. Who actually, he was on Sesame Street once, and we talk about puppets, and he sang a song about the letter B, which was very targeted. I appreciated that.
I love it.
It was great. And now we lost, Christopher Lee.
Yeah.
Yep.
Can I tell a true story about Christopher Lee? Whenever people refer to him as Dracula, I didn't know that he played Dracula. I just thought people were making a goof that he was Dracula.
He literally played Dracula the most. He holds that record. He also holds the record for most time on screen holding a sword. He was the only person during the production of Lord of the Rings who actually was friends with J.R.R. Tolkien and was originally cast from Tolkien himself to play Gandalf.
Oh, man.
I know.
He was a decorated war hero. He's a heavy metal
wasn't he like a
singer.
spy?
Yeah, he did some serious shit.
like 90% of the shit he did, he isn't allowed to talk. Or he wasn't allowed to talk about, and he took it with him.
Yeah, and he made those crazy heavy metal albums. The album art of those is great because it looks like he kind of did them himself.
He got his grandson.
Yeah. And we got that tweet the other week about the cartoons he was in.
Yeah.
Last Unicorn and... Was it a Discworld
Yes,
thing?
it was a Discworld thing.
Yes. Did he play Death?
I think so.
I haven't read a single book. Death is the only character I know.
Yes, he played Death in Welcome to the Discworld. But also, I wanted him with the Dracula thing. Like, I know, like, in Japan, they just associate him with Dracula forever, to the point where the actor who dubbed him originally in those Dracula movies, like, all he does is vampire shit now, because he's associated with, Christopher Lee's
the voice of
Dracula, like...
Yeah, that's what they hear when they hear Christopher Lee, that guy. Yeah, that dude, while Nina's looking for that, I just wanted, like, the reason that I say Christopher Lee might be one of the greatest, because he was one of those people who damn near lived for almost a century, just almost close enough, and he was still, like, to this day, if he didn't die, he would still be making movies and shit, work it every day, because this is just what he loved to fucking do, and he did so much other shit. Like, anytime he just would decide to do something, and then rock at it, and then move on to the next awesome thing. The man was unstoppable.
Yeah. So I've got his list of stuff he's done voice acting wise. He was in Nutcracker Fantasy as Uncle Drosselmeyer and 2 other incidental characters. He was in Corpse Bride as Pastor Gowswells.
He was a principal villain in Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
He was Ansem, and I don't know a goddamn thing about Kingdom Hearts. I'm glad that Kingdom Hearts fans are getting Kingdom Hearts 3, but I do not want to play it.
He played the Jabberwocky in the Tim Burton Alice in Wonderland, which was an animated character, so it counts.
Yeah, he had a few lines, literally a few.
He was Count Dooku in Star Wars Clone Wars animated film.
Yes.
Oh yeah, they did get him.
He reprised some of it. I was gonna say Sephiroth, Saruman in some of the video games for Lord of the Rings. Something called Agatha Christie's 10 Little Indians.
Yeah, he did a lot of, like, he also did The Color of Magic, which is another Terry Pratchett thing, where he will also play Death. I don't know. He just was around and did things.
Yeah, he's one of those guys who's in almost everything.
Yeah.
Love him.
But yeah, his last unicorn role is probably his most, like, prominent animated
voice acting role.
Feature. Yeah, voice acting role. And what was the name of the character in that?
King Haggard.
King Haggard.
He was the original voice of Thor in the German dubs in the Danish animated film Valhalla. So he's done voice work in German.
Yeah, he also played King Haggard in the German version as well for The Last Unicorn.
Yeah, he apparently he's fluent in English, Italian, French, Spanish, and German, and moderately proficient in Swedish, Russian, and Greek, which is crazy until, like, oh, he was a spy, so of course he was, but still.
And probably Elvish, or I wouldn't doubt it. He loved that shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I never thought I would see the day where he would die. I just thought he would be one of those guys who would just be old forever.
I mean, he was old for a really long time.
He was old for like 60 years.
Okay.
Almost a century.
Yeah.
One more cool thing about Christopher Lee before we move on. He is more connected. Like, everybody makes that Kevin Bacon game. You can do it way faster, in theory, if you knew every single movie ever, with Christopher Lee. I'm pretty sure he's 2 degrees away from almost everyone. He's been in everything.
Yeah.
So his legacy will live on, because God knows he is on a lot of celluloid.
Alright, and so we have a story now. So, we're very sad about his passing. I still kind of don't believe it.
Yeah.
But,
He's hanging with Elvis somewhere.
Yeah. Alright, so our next...
Singing circles around him, I bet.
Alright, so we have a story that I was gonna push to next week, but a couple people wanted us to talk about it, so it's the fact that Pixar completely replaced the voice cast for The Good Dinosaur, which I remind you is supposed to be coming out in November.
Here's the thing. You'd have to do voice work before you can do the animation.
I guess they didn't this time, or they tweak, or they, I don't know. You can lip match. Lip sync. I don't know.
I really hope that this movie is good because I like its premise, but it's pretty difficult to remain faithful in this movie where everything we learn about its production sounds like a joke from a different movie it sounds like it's a joke from a movie about making this movie.
Yeah, I mean...
you know what, that's a good idea. I would watch a Good Dinosaur documentary.
Yeah.
I would watch like a This Is Spinal Tap of making...
If Pixar in their most self-aware moment ever made a live action like comedy film about them trying to make a movie in a Spinal Tap way, that would be their favorite movie of mine. That would be their best movie.
Okay, so let me kind of try to go through everything that's happened.
One more joke I want to make is like Terry Gilliam attached to this because it's been so fucked up that it feels like it has to be his curse.
Alright, so...
Did he just like walk through the studio the day it was being pitched?
Like a black
all
cat.
All the planets aligned.
And everyone was like, oh no, who let Terry in? He got lost on his way to the bathroom.
Okay, so the film was originally conceived by the original director, Bob Peterson, who co-directed Up, but apparently he was absent from the movie's D23 panel in 2013, and then it turned out that he was removed from the film. But the original voice cast of Lucas Neff, Bill Hader, Neil Patrick Harris, Judy Greer, John Lithgow, and Frances McDormand did remain. And co-director Peter Sohn was upgraded to director while the story was revamped. Apparently the original concept is the same of a world where dinosaurs never went extinct, and the dinosaur has a pet human. But Lithgow told us that the movie was dismantled, completely imagined. He said he had already completed his voice work, but had to record all new dialogue with the new stuff. He and McDormand were set to play Mama and Papa Dinosaur, but today, the 12th, Pixar announced that the film's voice cast and Lithgow is not in the production anymore, along with everyone else but McDormand. So, they got rid of 2 directors and changed all the voices again.
No, I think Peter Sohn is still the director. McDormand was Lithgow's one of the actors.
Oh, right. Okay. Alright, so it's the same director, but now Lithgow is gone, and a bunch of other people. So now we have a new voice cast. We've got Raymond Ochoa, gonna play an Apatosaurus. Jeffrey Wright, he's gonna voice the Papa Dinosaur. Steve Zahn, Pterodactyl. AJ Buckley, a T-Rex. Anna Paquin, another T-Rex. Sam Elliott, another T-Rex.
Yeah, Sam Elliott T-Rex. I'm down.
Okay, finally T-Rex with an incredible mustache and a hat that he will not fucking take off.
Well, apparently...
He can't take it off. He can't reach
apparently
it.
His character's name is Butch.
Well,
yes, good.
You got it.
The T-Rexes are named Nash, Ramsey, and Butch.
So, Frances McDormand is the only person from the original cast that's still on as Mama, the mother dinosaur. Marcus Scribner as the brother of the main character Arlo, and then Jack Bright will provide the voice of Spot, the human pet.
Now, apparently all these people have been in stuff, but the only one I recognize is Sam Elliott.
Yeah.
This is the first time the studio has cast an entire film, recorded dialogue, and then replaced 99% of the cast.
Although I don't believe it's the first time they've re-recorded dialogue and made a whole new movie. They've done that like a couple times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The DVD for Monsters, Inc., which has, I think, the most bonus content on any DVD I've ever seen. There's like 4 days of behind-the-scenes shit on that DVD.
Yeah.
What?
It's
yeah,
amazing.
That DVD, I don't know how they fit all that on a DVD.
Well, there was a couple. I think there was like 2 bonus DVDs or something.
There may have been 2 discs, but yeah, like they have a animatic of like a movie, of like basically a full movie that has no mic and is like vaguely similar to the finished product, and like so they've retooled stuff a lot. I don't think ever this close to the deadline.
Yeah, I mean, okay. This is that Monsters Inc. thing was like a script. They didn't cast actors and record dialogue. It was an animatic. It was a script. This is a movie that's supposed to be coming out November 25th that had already recorded everything. Animation obviously is already in production, and they recast and redubbed everything when the film is coming out in a couple months. How do you even do that?
I don't know.
Do they have to, are they, dubbing it? Like, oh crap, now we have to write the script so they can sync up with the lip flaps because we don't have time to go in and reanimate all the mouth movements? Like,
I don't know.
What?
Maybe, yeah.
I'm going to be interested to... I hope that if they do a good job with this DVD, there'll be like an animatic of the entire original movie with all the original dialogue in there. They've got the stuff.
I don't know. I don't even know.
This is crazy.
It's bananas.
It's not like Pixar hasn't had trouble with production before. Like, Toy Story 2 was like a fucking thing.
Didn't they lose? Was that the one they lost?
It's because it was originally going to be directed video, and then Disney wanted them to make it theatrical, so they upped the budget. But like Disney said it didn't count towards their contract, and Pixar did. It was the whole thing. But yeah, I mean, halfway through production, that movie went into a much, much bigger scope.
Yeah.
And apparently, there were also problems with Ratatouille.
I just remember like the very first like Toy Story, the very first one. They conceived an utterly different film. To Buzz and Woody looked different. Woody was a giant asshole, and they made the whole movie and then watched it and then realized it was crap, and then they go back and do it all the fuck over again. And this was like their first big shot. So I don't know. That's probably, I don't know how many of those people are involved. Pixar as a whole, I guess, has probably just become numb to working under the gun like this now.
Yes.
It's probably par for the course for them.
I mean, we'll see. I'm very curious.
I'm still optimistic. I'm still cautiously optimistic, which I am with most movies.
Yeah,
regardless
we'll see
of their
if they can
production
make
nonsense.
a blockbuster CGI animated movie in 6 months.
Okay. And last, but not least, for this week anyway, I had to push a lot of stories onto next week because I just couldn't, you guys.
They announced a Smurfs 3. It's literally called Get Smurfy.
What? No, they didn't.
Yes, they did. It's real.
I'm quitting the show.
That's not what we're talking about. We were talking about Gravity Falls. We finally have a date.
I'm back on.
July 13th. It's coming
July
back.
13th.
July 13th. And
A little less than a month.
The actor who's going to be playing the Stan's brother, J.K. Simmons.
The Stan's brother?
Oh! I had to scroll down.
Yes, J.K. Simmons will be playing Stan's brother. Be there, July 13th, on the Disney Channel.
Disney XD.
Really? They're not going to put it on the Disney Channel for the big premiere?
That's what Hirsch's tweet says.
Oh, okay.
July 13th,
Be there.
Disney XD.
They do always show it on XD first.
Okay,
I
be there on Disney XD. It's going to be called A Tale of Two Stans. And we have a little image of the two brothers as little baby baboos.
Babby
twins exploring.
Yay.
Okay, so that is news. A lot of speculation, a lot of stuff that we gotta just wait and see. But one thing, we ended on a note that we can definitely be excited for, because I'm confident they're not gonna fuck this up. There's no precedent for that.
That's like saying I'm pretty sure the sun's gonna come up tomorrow.
Yeah.